I think we're just gonna have to start, honestly, and Brad will join us when he's ready. So, yeah.
Do you think? Do you think he's? Do you think he's okay?
I mean, that's a future Majid and True problem.
That's sushi.
So that's offensive. That's offensive. We'll deal with your indirect racism after this.
Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to yet another Star Trek podcast where we have sometimes three hosts, Drew, Brad, and myself, talk about Star Trek. As you notice, it's just two of us today. Brad is in the bathroom. So hopefully he'll join us when he's ready. In the meantime, I have my buddy, my friend, my loved one, Drew. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, honestly, I'm pretty tired. It's been a week. It's been a week.
Also age.
Yeah. I'm approaching 41, so that's great.
Yeah.
I tried to make like a fancy dinner tonight. And have you ever tried to make a pan sauce without a recipe?
No.
Yeah.
No. Why would I want to do anything without a recipe? That's a recipe for disaster.
Well, I pride myself on having some very basic recipes in my back pocket. Like I know that I can bake a piece of chicken for a certain length of time, and I could season it in various ways, and it'll always come out just the way I like it. So I tried something a little different with the chicken today. Instead of baking it, I pan fried it, using a method that I found through America's Test Kitchen. And then I tried to make a pan sauce out of the fond that was in the pan. But I used too much butter. So I tried to counterbalance the butter with beer because I didn't have any wine. And then it just tasted like a buttery IPA, and it was really gross, and we didn't use it.
Oh, okay. So you didn't try it. I guess if you did, you'd be in the bathroom with Brad.
Yeah, no, I mean, I taste my food while I'm cooking. Did not taste good.
Oh. On a scale of like 1 to 10, how bad was it?
We dumped it in the sink.
Is your sink okay?
No. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Spartan race is June 22nd at your favorite stadium at Citi Field. I won't be trying to upper deck them again because they don't have tanks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you knew this, but there's no tanks.
I'm
also,
aware.
It's illegal apparently to upper deck a public place. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I've cut weight for this because it's difficult to do things when you're carrying around extra weight.
It is.
It's harder to jump over walls. Everything's more difficult, as is in life, right? When you're carrying extra weight. So, I'm gonna have to transition from cutting back to maintaining because, you need carbs to run this thing.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. You're darting around there a lot, like you're playing Galaga.
I just noticed that your name is popping up in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, which I did not realize it was happening prior. So that's something that I'm going to need to make an adjustment to, and I'm making a mental note of that because it doesn't do that on my screen.
Okay.
It only does it on your screen, or maybe it's when my mouse is over it. I don't know. Say something.
You look like Stella when I have like a laser pointer.
Oh yeah. No, I have two very large monitors, and I have to have certain things open for this video thing to capture everything properly.
Yeah.
And it's really very inefficient, man.
I'm tired of you waving your nice setup in my face also subtly.
Yeah, let's talk about setups for a second. What the heck's going on back there? Are you trying
so I'm trying out some new photography equipment for the studio, And thanks to our sponsors for this video, Godox, that is their 80 centimeter studio umbrella.
Uh-huh.
They are our new sponsors.
Who is Godox? I don't. What? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
So Godox is a very popular brand with photographers.
Uh-huh.
They're not actually our sponsors. You called me out. I can't keep that lie up. But I want them to be.
Well,
but they're a high quality they do photography equipment, lighting. As a matter of fact, I have their flash trigger on my camera right here.
okay.
I should probably put a lens cap on that.
You probably should.
Hey, you know what? I'm just going to be really careful.
You know, I'm sure it'll be fine. Nothing could possibly happen, right? Nothing will happen at all.
I found it.
Look at you.
My desk is a mess, buddy. My whole room's a mess, if
Yeah.
we're being honest. I really am trying out the Godox umbrella because lighting in portraits, I love portrait photography. It's my thing. It's my jam. Event photography as well is just my jam. And lighting is super important. And if you don't have the right lighting, then the pictures come out crappy and you're forced to spend more time in Lightroom and cry and eat chocolate while you're trying to recover these photos that just don't have enough light.
Mm.
And then, it's a delicate balance and a delicate game. So I'm trying to expand my waters.
So
per se.
Once you're done expanding your professional waters, maybe we can get you to expand your podcast waters too, and use some of that equipment to illuminate that room nice.
So that you see behind me, that's just an umbrella with a flash. It's connected with this flash trigger, also by Godox. The sponsors of our I wish they were the sponsors of our channel.
Sponsors.
I wish they were. I really wish they were. But hey, I mean, stranger things have happened, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Like, beaming down to a planet and realizing that you're in a Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we?
Let's talk about it.
That's a great segue.
You know what? I try for you. I just do this to impress you. So
I like it.
Thanks for noticing, baby.
So let's talk about season 2,
episode 7.
Episode 7, I think. Yeah, Catspaw.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna do my best to make sure I don't do that every time you say the name of the episode.
I'm only gonna say it once.
Oh, even better. We're all done.
A landing party of Sulu, Scotty, and crewman Jackson on Pyrus 7 is overdue for a routine check-in. Jackson, of all people, finally calls the Enterprise with a one-to-beam-up request. Well, that's weird. What's even weirder is he materializes, then promptly falls dead on the transporter pad. Except then he comes back to life to warn the crew to leave or die, and then he dies again. Well, Kirk says screw that. He ain't leaving. Spock and McCoy beam down to investigate, and they're greeted by a gothic castle straight out of a Halloween store. It's a spooky start that promises thrills and chills aplenty, leaving the crew more wary than a Vulcan at a Tellarite family reunion. As Kirk and the landing party explore the castle, they encounter all manner of supernatural phenomenon, including witches, warlocks, black cats, and eerie illusions. Except for the trapdoor. Apparently that wasn't an illusion. And when they come to, they're chained up in the sex dungeon. Scotty and Sulu appear, but they're not helping. They are under the control of a wizard named Korub. So what do you think of this so far? What do you think of this setup?
So I think it's weird. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time that there's been a sex dungeon in the episodes that we've watched, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened on average of once a season so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe they're just, recycling sets because they don't have a budget.
Maybe they shot on location at Roddenberry's house.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. It was, late 60s there. Well, in any case, Korab decides to try to convince them to leave through bribery, but it is not working. And then this woman named Sylvia enters. Well, guess what? She's a witch! And she can control their minds. She does some voodoo magic to get the Enterprise to start burning up like the sun by holding a facsimile of it inside of a candle. Interesting choice. Well, Kirk stops her from doing further damage and concludes that she's using telepathy and telekinesis. But Sylvia and Korab are at odds on how much exactly to reveal about this situation. They send Kirk and Spock back to the sex dungeon while Sylvia takes McCoy and converts him into a mindless pawn. Sylvia starts arguing with Korab, but it's clear that she is infatuated with Kirk. Well, Kirk picks up on this and he starts manipulating her with his sexlexia. He learns that a transmuter is the key to her power, but she's on to him and has McCoy, Scotty, and Sulu bring him back to the Snoo Palace.
You wrote that for me.
I sure did, buddy.
I love it.
Korab, realizing that Sylvia is abusing her powers, releases the Enterprise, Kirk, and Spock. He can no longer control Sylvia or her pawns, however, and he regrets everything that's happened. He releases them, but a black cat Kirk and company encountered earlier is now gigantic, and it crushes Korab. Kirk and Spock scuffle with the rest of the away team, grab the transmuter, and Kirk shatters it, ending the entire illusion, revealing that Korab and Sylvia are nothing more than a child's school project involving shrimp tails and pipe cleaners. Mm-hmm. The crew beam up, their will restored, and leave that crazy science fair for good. To sum up the episode, black cats make great pets until they're gigantic. Aw, Metro. Pipe cleaners make great puppets, and Spirit Halloween apparently orders their stock from botched away missions.
You say giant cat, right? And we know that if this episode were shot in 2024, they would have used the CGI cat, but back then they got to do things practically. So I found it interesting that they just genetically altered a cat and made it gigantic, which is it's amazing and it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, according to the Memory Alpha, this episode was in production for 3 years while they waited for the cat to grow.
Yeah, it's wild.
Pretty wild.
It would have been 4, but they were able to, speed up the process with little HGH.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stuff.
What'd you think of this episode?
I was under the impression that there would be more cats and not just one.
Yeah.
Right?
Imagine our disappointment when we realized that there were no cats involved in this in reality.
Right. And I'm also pretty sure that the person that did sound design for this episode doesn't understand what a cat sounds like, because that was a panther. Clearly that was a panther.
Mm.
I feel lied to. And for every time I was lied to about that cat and the amount of cats in the episode, I deducted 1 point from my overall score. So,
So this is going to go well.
Yeah, no, it's going to go swimmingly. What do you think about it so far?
I mean, not a very good impression of this episode. This was a tough one to stick with, man. It was just kind of meandering, right? How many times did they go back and forth to the sex dungeon? It seemed like every other scene was bringing somebody back to the dungeon to chain them up. And it really felt like they were getting nowhere with it, right? Like Korab almost had nothing to do with any of this stuff. Like they made it seem like he was the responsible party to kind of initiate a lot of this, and then Sylvia like seized power from him.
Yeah. which made no sense.
Makes no sense at all. Like, what is their deal? Like, why are they together? Are they lovers? Are they crewmates? It's never really clear. And it seems like these two are just, alien creatures that have the ability to, transmute and use powers to create these environments. But why would they create an environment that makes them look like, wizards and warlocks, witches and whatever?
Yeah. I want to get on my high horse for a second.
Yes.
I thought, what was the male character's name again?
Korab.
Korab looked disturbingly similar to Emperor Ming from Flash Gordon.
Okay.
You know how much that pissed me off?
No. No, I do not.
It didn't piss me off that much, but enough for me to remember it while watching the episode 30 minutes ago and bring it up.
Let's see here.
Fun fact, I only watched the episode 30 minutes before we started recording.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. I watched it last week because I thought we were recording last week. So we can help each other.
It wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault. I just had to cancel because, okay, I guess it was my fault.
Well, Brad was here, so.
Who?
Brad. You missed it.
So, I never see Brad and you in the same room together anymore.
That's true. So I just did a quick search on the actor who played Korab. Sadly, it is not the same one from Flash Gordon. In fact, this guy died like a year later from when this episode aired.
Did he die from disappointment with the episode?
Memory,
is that offensive?
Memory Alpha seems to be missing that. It was a road accident. He died in a road accident in Hollywood.
Guess who feels terrible?
Yeah.
Oh God, guess who regrets that being on recording?
Yep.
This guy.
Cut that.
Yeah, cut that. Oh God. Oh, fix it in post.
Oh no.
So you know who Emperor Ming is, though, right? I mean, I think I'm gonna have to put this comparison up when we go on Twitter.
I have not seen Flash Gordon movie since I was a kid.
Okay, but you've seen it though.
When I was like 5. That's
good enough.
The only thing I remember from it is Flash. That's it.
Let's not do that because I think we can get sued. I think we'll get demonetized.
Oh crap. Well, I can tell you I wasn't
get monetized first, right?
Yeah. We have to get monetized before we be demonetized. That's accurate. That's correct. Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Right, which is the best kind of correct. What about Sylvia going through the whole mystique? Hey, I'm a woman now, which by the way should have been a red flag for Kirk. I think he should have paused and been like, hey, when you say you're a woman now, like what do you mean exactly? How long are we talking?
I mean, do you think that like being a woman now is a precursor for Kirk getting it on? Like, I don't know. I feel like Kirk would just be like, yeah, well, I don't care what you were. And I don't care what you are. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, when they changed back into bugs at the end, he was like, what?
Damn, that's a sexy pipe cleaner.
Right.
Yeah. I'm looking at an image, right. Of this on Memory Alpha. And I swear, right. I'm not making this up. I'm pretty sure I see a shrimp tail. There's definitely a pipe cleaner, at least one pipe cleaner there.
It looks like a praying mantis.
Yeah, but it looks like a praying mantis wearing a fur coat. Like,
oh my God, a fancy praying mantis.
It's a fancy mantis.
Oh, I love it.
Like we just saw the Met Gala a couple days ago. I'm pretty sure this praying mantis was at the Met Gala.
I mean, if it's still alive.
Well, I'm sure it got stepped on or something.
Oh,
but yeah, not their finest moment. Although I did find it very interesting that they were like the tiniest of creatures after all of that nonsense. They ended up just being about the size of like our palms, right?
Yeah, that's how people over 6 feet look at me.
You're right. I can confirm that. It's exactly how I think of you. It's a small bug.
We got to see some more fighting, which I love. I love how I love seeing the evolution of Kirk fighting, by the way. He has one of the best crosses, one of the best fake crosses I've seen in media. And by the way, did they kill Sulu?
No, Sulu's still alive.
They must have broken his neck.
I don't recall because I watched this last week.
Oh, right, fair, right.
But I can tell you that Sulu is very much alive. Like he goes on to great things in the franchise.
He has full use of his arms and legs?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like you to go back at some point. Maybe you don't go back, but just take my word for it.
I'm going to take your word for it.
All right. After the fight with Kirk and Sulu, they cut to Sulu laid out on the floor in front of the door. His neck is like this. And he's on the ground. Buddy, his neck was broken. I'm sure of it.
Look.
And they just have to play it off like, what if the last part of this episode was just Weekend at Bernie's? Just Weekend at Sulu's, you know?
Weekend at Sulu's. Look, George Takei is incredibly good at specific acting, and he was given specific instructions. Like,
be flexible.
Be flexible. Sulu. Lie there like you're dead.
And DeForest Kelley, I love DeForest Kelley so much. That man does not know how to take a punch.
No.
So Kirk hits him with a right cross, and DeForest Kelley falls to the left. That's now how momentum works. You're a doctor, damn it. Act like it.
He's a doctor, not a stuntman.
That's fair. That's fair. If we titled our episode, that would be the absolute title. He's a doctor, not a stuntman.
Look, man, I'm trying to capitalize on all the SEO stuff, and clearly it's not working. So maybe we should start doing that.
This episode is it's the best kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also the worst kind.
Yeah, I mean, there was some real crazy nonsense going on in this one, right? Like, using the voodoo magic on the Enterprise, I thought was a particularly interesting trait to go with, and then encasing it in like that I can't remember what they did, but they like encased it in something, right? It was like
it was an ornament.
Yeah, it was like an ornament, right? And I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, wow, I want that on my Christmas tree. Does Hallmark make this one yet?
I'm pretty sure Hallmark makes it, and it costs $30, and it'll last you for 1 year.
I have a ton of Hallmark Trek ornaments, actually.
Well, I'm saying it's gonna last you 1 year because Metro and Dax are gonna take the tree down and break it.
I'm surprised they haven't yet. But
they haven't?
No. Well,
oh, that's interesting.
The first year that we had Dax, he destroyed our Christmas tree, but since then it's been good.
I wonder if I'm due because Stella hasn't destroyed the tree, but I think Kylo might because Kylo, my dog, thinks he's a cat. And you've seen my dog. He's 38 pounds.
Yeah.
He'll see Stella on my lap and he'll be like, oh, we can do that. So I've been here at this desk working and he's been on my lap just sitting here because why not? Right? You know, if Stella can do it, he can do it. So he's not dumb. He just thinks he's a cat, which it's cool, I guess.
Well, I mean, he lives with a cat. Like he doesn't have a lot of other dogs he's exposed to, right?
So Stella's a bad influence.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
That's
fair. I get it.
Anyway, so let's see here. What else can we talk about with this episode? There's not much.
Well, we could talk about how our favorite characters we get to spend a little more time with, like what I deem as the essential boarding party of Kirk, McCoy, and Spock. I think like those guys going down, they're just it's the perfect combination. You have logic, um, medical expertise, and horniness.
Yeah. The perfect
Uh,
trifecta.
the perfect trifecta. By the way, why is Kirk so horny?
I don't know.
Is there no horny jail in Starfleet?
I guess not.
I read somewhere that in this script, it only called for like a light brushing of the shoulder. William Shatner got in there. He's like, I think we need more.
Yeah.
Let's just play along. And you can get away with that because it's the 60s.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that now.
No, negative.
Oh, that was awkward to watch. My daughter was in the room.
Really?
Yeah. The actress Sylvie did not look like she was having a good time. So much so that they had to change Sylvie midway through the episode.
What?
To somebody else. They changed it twice. She's like, oh, I can be this woman for you. I can be this woman. I can be this woman. Anyone that you probably wouldn't find as attractive, and you can stop touching me. Inappropriately.
Well, maybe we can have her on the show. She's still alive. And ask her all about it.
She's 91 years old.
Yeah. German.
Do you think she knows what a podcast is?
No.
Okay. That's fair. That's fine. She's been in a lot of stuff, including Mission Impossible.
Which one?
Nice.
The series or the movies?
The series.
Okay.
Yep. She was in television credit. So anywhere from the 60s to the 80s, she was on so many different TV shows. Twilight Zone, Ben Casey, The Fugitive. That's weird.
I'm looking through some of these credits, and like she's acted with a ton of Trek alum over the years.
Oh, like Nimoy and Shatner?
I mean, just a lot of like side characters, right?
Yeah. Does it talk about her restraining order against Shatner?
No, that's not.
Okay.
That's not in the memory alpha.
I don't know if documents like that are made to the public. I'm not a lawyer.
No.
I just read stuff on ChatGPT, and it's usually 50%, 40% correct.
Yeah. ChatGPT. I don't know about that, man.
Maybe we use Bard.
I guess.
But I mean, who really gets their legal advice from ChatGPT other than me? Like it's a pretty tight niche group, you know. I haven't met anybody else besides me that gets their legal advice from ChatGPT. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT about it and see what he has to say. Like, who else gets their legal advice from you, ChatGPT? Is it just me?
Yes, it is. Interesting fact with this episode, we've been covering season 2 in order of air, but this episode was actually the first one produced for season 2, and as thus would be the debut of Ensign Chekhov, so to speak. He doesn't seem to have that charm and wit that we've seen in some of the other episodes that we've covered yet.
Yeah,
but he is there. He has a few quips. Any thoughts on Chekhov in this episode?
We didn't really see that much of him.
Yeah, I mean, he did kind of fire back at the officer in command of the Enterprise at the time, letting him know that he's capable and not that green, even though he's an ensign. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh, it's getting dark outside. Thus, my room is getting dark.
Why don't you turn on that beacon behind you?
Yeah, first of all, it is a flash, good sir.
Just leave it on.
That's not how flashes work, man.
Yeah, well, it can.
Let's see. Is it even still on? I may have turned it off. It's not on anymore.
Oh, that's great.
Or the battery died.
Some photographer you are.
Hey!
You got to be prepared.
I'm not a Boy Scout. I'm a photographer. The difference.
Charge your batteries. Leave your flash on.
That's fair. Man, that's it's fine. I get it. You're lashing out at me because Brad's not here.
Well,
it's cool.
It's hard not to.
What kind of experiments do you think pipe cleaning bugs have to do on humans?
Well, I mean, I would start by saying they probably clean out every bottle they see. And then they would run experiments on which bottles clean the best. No? Okay.
I want to give you a second to live with your shame on that. I want to give you that second.
Yeah, you know, like to answer the question seriously, like I don't really know. It's like I'm just trying to think of what the purpose of doing all of this in a castle with witches. Like if you have the power to transmute things, and like, why not make yourself be more technologically advanced than the ship that you're dealing with, right? Like, why go the other way?
Yeah, like where they said they got the information from the thoughts, right?
Yeah, I guess
that's dumb.
Like, who was thinking of a Halloween castle and witches and black cats and sex dungeons? Well, Kirk was thinking of sex dungeons, but
Kirk was thinking about sex dungeons. But if we're also close to Pon Farr, could have been Spock too.
Could have been.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Like, a lot of this stuff just doesn't add up, and the entire episode to me just comes off as what kind of crazy situation can we get these guys in this week? Oh, I know. Let's do this because we don't need that many sets and we can recreate it easily. And then they're like, oh crap, now we have to actually write ourselves out of this.
After taking one big line of baby powder from the table.
Exactly. So, you know, with a script that was like just all over the place and a plot line that lacked in any kind of like cohesion and logic and thought, it is just really difficult for me to like follow what was going on. Right. And none of it mattered. Right. None of it mattered.
Maybe you have to be in a certain state of mind to enjoy this episode. Maybe.
I guess.
You need shrooms.
And it's such a steep fall from Doomsday Machine.
Well, Doomsday Machine took inspiration from Moby Dick.
Right.
Which is a classic story. A classic story of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Revenge is a dish best served cold, which is an old Klingon proverb.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's always going to work in any setting. Like that time the dog pooped on your yard and then your neighbor didn't clean it up. So you waited until nightfall and you pooped in the neighbor's yard.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. It's called, I mean, if I'm doing an upper decker on somebody's lawn, what would that be called?
It's called, it's called gratification. It's called gratification in the end.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, do you think that they should have crushed the bugs before they left the planet?
That would have been so funny. Like, I part of me wonders if I missed that. Like, did Spock forget to walk over and, like, you know, put the cigarette out, so to speak?
Oh, actually, no, they were dying anyway.
I guess. Yeah, were they?
I mean, put them out of the misery then.
Yeah, right.
You absolutely step on them.
Right.
Let's do experiments on them. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, no, they did. They died. They quickly perished.
Well, no, let's see what happens how quickly they die, or what happens when you pull one of the limbs off. I'm not a sociopath, I promise.
Yeah. Like,
but that's exactly what a sociopath would say.
I want to know, let's see here. Is there any background on how these were made?
I love that you're hooked on the craft project that is the alien.
Okay, so they were marionettes composed of blue fluff, pipe cleaners, crab pincers, and other materials. They were operated with thick black threads that were clearly visible. Most of this was corrected in the remastered version of the episode.
That makes sense because I didn't see it. We're watching the remastered versions.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. Not that I would have been opposed to, like, if I did see it, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
There's a charm to that kind of stuff, in my opinion. Like, why hide something like that? You're doing your best, right? It's fine.
Yeah. This is the kind of episode that the folks from Mystery Science Theater 3000 would enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it's a so bad episode, but it can be made better by having two robots and a human do commentary the entire time.
Right.
I'm sorry. I know how much you love that show, and I'm sorry to bring it up.
Oh, it's such a great show. It really is. I'm a big fan. If you ever have a chance to see them live, highly recommend it.
They're still alive?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're robots, right? They can't die.
Well, yes, but there's like a whole, crew of puppeteers, and
It's not just a guy inside of a costume?
no.
Ah, that's dumb. That's way more cost effective to have just a person inside a costume.
We're still talking about Mystery Science Theater, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. I would have told you if I changed topics all of a sudden, like some kind of parkour guy.
Oh God. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Give me
let's rate this bad boy.
Let's rate it.
Let's rate it.
All right. Who's going first? You
all
going
right,
first?
I'll play for it.
All right. 1, 2, 3, shoot. You got like an extra jump there. 1, 2, 3. We're doing rock, paper, scissors for the listeners. Scissors, cut, paper. You win.
Scissors, cut, paper, and I banged my hand on the microphone on the way down. So
nice work.
Good luck editing that out.
Nice work. That's gonna be great.
All right, so you're up first. Let's hear your thoughts.
Oh, I thought you won.
Maybe we should have, before we started playing, dictated who the winner and losers are.
All right. Well, I'll go. Because I do feel like I lost this one.
You lost.
Just a dreadful episode. Not the worst, I would say, but I would make zero effort to pay any attention to this if it were on TV again. I barely paid attention to it when I was watching it this time, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Fair.
It's just a nonsense plot with two villains that I didn't care about, who seemingly didn't like each other. And I don't know why they were working together in the first place. It doesn't make any sense. There's no logic to it. The idea of so many crew members just, getting mind controlled, and then we didn't even get to see what goes on in the sex dungeon. I mean, come on, like, don't tease us like that.
There's a whole different series for that. I'll give you a link.
Yeah. 3. Giving this a 3.
Oh, a 3 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's rough. I think that's your lowest rating ever.
It's not.
It's not? Well, I don't have a good memory, so that would make it the lowest rated in my memory.
I was keeping track of these, and I stopped.
It's Brad's fault.
Now you're making me feel like I should go higher. I'll give it a 4. 4.
No, why?
I don't
listen. You do you. We have listen. Our sponsors don't care how low you rate the episode.
Yes.
Are you gonna ask me what I thought?
Oh, sure. What'd you think, buddy?
Oh my God. I thought you'd never ask. So I thought this episode was terrible. I thought this episode was so bad. And then you say,
how bad was it?
Yeah, well, I don't have anything written for that part. Anyway, so I thought the episode was bad. I didn't think it was terrible, but it lost me, and it did not get me back until the credits rolled, because then I had to stop it before it played the next episode. So it lost me from Act 2. Act 2 and on.
Yeah. Pretty early.
It did get me back for the fight scene, but I didn't know why Spock and Sulu were fighting. We did see the Vulcan sleeper hold again. I love that. I haven't seen the Vulcan sleeper hold done in the show in a long time.
It is like his special weapon.
Yeah. Well, it's a finishing move.
Mm.
Like there's no one kicking out of the Vulcan sleeper hold.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
it's a protected finisher. The Vulcan sleeper hold is the sweet chin music of Star Trek.
I'm trying to think of what actual finishing move it is the equivalent of. Because I feel like sweet chin music has like this huge wind up, you know?
Sweet chin music though it's protected, so
What is?
no one kicks out of sweet chin music.
Except for Ric Flair.
We should do a wrestling podcast one day.
Oh,
Maybe we should just change this to a wrestling podcast and see if anybody notices.
Yeah, no, I'll get some of my old listeners back.
We'll gain some new ones. Yay.
Yeah.
I think it'll balance out in the end.
Pour one out for ring wrap.
I have my camera on my desk. I'm not pouring anything out.
Okay, fair enough. So what are you ranking this thing?
I'm going to give this episode a 4, just like you, buddy. It's not a great episode, and I think that we were expecting this. I think that you and I, as we've looked at these good episodes this season, and quite frankly, some sleepers, right? You and I did not expect Doomsday Machine to be a sleeper. That was such a good episode that more people need to talk about.
Yeah. I think the problem that I run into with a lot of these episodes is I recognize the names of the good ones, many of which I've seen. And then the stuff that I haven't seen, I just immediately assume that it's trash. And so far, I've been mostly right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. So it's like you're setting yourself up for failure, and when you achieve that failure, or when you expect failure, and you see failure, you're not surprised.
Right.
But when you are expecting greatness, and then receive failure, it's disappointing. But at least this way, you'll always be surprised.
Right.
When it's good.
Right.
I think I took your very simple concept and I made it so much more complicated.
You really did. But thank you for that.
Well, I got you back. Unlike Brad, who is in a bathroom.
Still 42 minutes later. Hey, let's talk about next week's episode.
Mud.
A takeover.
So excited.
Leads Kirk to his old nemesis, Harry Mudd. And of course, he's surrounded by women. Why else wouldn't he be?
Right. It's a Gene Roddenberry era.
Yep. Very excited about this one. I've never seen this episode, but I really enjoyed the first outing with Harry Mudd. Yeah. And I've enjoyed all the supplemental Mudd episodes that we had on like Discovery and, the short treks and stuff too. Even though it was a different, actor, different portrayal. I think it was very within the spirit of the character. So
yeah, Rainn Wilson and the original actor for Harry Mudd, you can we can talk about his actual name later because I don't know what it is. But Rainn Wilson and the original actor, their performances are just, it's an homage. Rainn Wilson is paying homage to the original actor's performance, and it's something beautiful to be seen.
Right. Roger C. Carmel.
That's the name I was thinking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have just said it with words.
Yeah.
Instead of, thoughts. I gotta trust my brains more, man. Gotta trust my brain more.
Yeah, man. Well, in any case, I'm looking forward to reviewing that one, and we'll see you folks in 2 weeks when we talk about Mudd. So I guess that's gonna just about do it for us, right?
Yeah. I love you, buddy, and I'll see you for the next one.
Love you. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of yet another Star Trek podcast. We are part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on May 8th, 2024. It's hosted by Drew and Majid, because Brad's still not here. Head on over to our show notes where you can find links to all kinds of amazing stuff, including 2 people that we would really love to thank. First up, George Rattal. He drew us like Lower Decks characters. And if that's something that you're into, head on over to the Fiverr link in our notes. Also, I'd like to thank William Grobelar for writing and performing all of the original music that we feature in this show, including the songs To the Stars and our theme song Warp Speed. Will does some amazing work, and you can follow him on SoundCloud if you'd like to check out more of it. Other links that we have on our page are to our social media accounts at Yet Another ST Pod. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reels, you name it, we're all there. And of course, our website, www.yetanotherstpod.com. We've also got a Discord room. There's a link for that in the show notes as well, too. Come on by and show us pictures of your cats or dogs. We don't judge. Thanks for listening. We'll see you later.